Now that we've resolved our mommy issues, we can finally move on. Hey everyone, welcome to Prince of Gay. I'm your host, Connie, and today we are here with Season 2, Episode 19 of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. And yeah, last time we finally got the resolution with the issues with Adria and everything, and her having, pushing away Lunella in a very unfair way, which she acknowledged and apologized for. So now we're finally able to move on. Adria is on Lunella's side, and the entire family is backing her. We had these past episodes basically be all about family drama, focus more on that than anything else. So I'm hoping we can move on now. I'm hoping we can start to focus again on more of the superhero stuff and just other aspects of the show, because I love the family drama. I do. But when you have a bunch of episodes in a row all dedicated to that, I just want something else as well, This show is able to touch on so many great topics, and on top of the action and superhero stuff, it's there's just more places you can take the commentary and messaging with this series. I understand that family is obviously a major part of the show and everything, but there's other things too. Community is a big part of the show. Friendship is a big part of the show. You have culture and various things like that. There's so many different routes you can go into. And it's just when you have 4 episodes in a row that are basically all doing the same thing, just with different characters. I mean, 2 of the episodes focus on Adria and Lunella's relationship, but still. It's just, it gets a little repetitive. And I just feel like it could have been done maybe a little bit better. But that's just me. And it's a minor issue at best. It's not a big deal. It doesn't really hurt the series that much. It's just a weaker point in it, which does happen. But now that we've gotten that through, there's a lot of other stuff we still need to do for this series before we can close off. And there's 24 episodes total, so we got time to get through this, because we still have to address Beyonder and try to get him back into the fold of things. We have to establish some final villain. That should definitely be established before the final episode. We have to establish some final villain. There's still kind of some unresolved things regarding Marvin? I think his name is Melvar, maybe? Whatever. The Kree kid. Kid Kree, actually, I think is his name. His hero name. I feel like there's still some things that they wanted to address with him. There's more we can do with Casey, obviously. I don't know if we're going to get more of the other kids at this point, whether we're talking about the STEM kids or the other friends. Which would suck, because they already took out an episode that focused on the other friends with Brooklyn and Ty and whatnot. And it's I would love to see more of them, but they're minor characters, all things considered. They're not major players of this series. But I would just love to see more, And mind you, if we had another season or something, we probably would have, but I don't know if we're going to get anything more at this point. We'll probably get more, Casey-focused stuff. But other than that, I'm not sure. It's there's definitely still more places they could go. But I don't know what they're going to do with any of it. I don't know what the plan is. And I'm just hoping that I've said this before, I'm just hoping that it does end on a satisfying note. To where it at least feels like it wasn't like super heavily rushed to get to an ending. Something preferably like Owl House, I would say, where it's like, oh yeah, it obviously could have used a lot more. Some things were left unanswered, but for what they were given, they made the ending work, and they made it satisfying enough. I'm hoping for something maybe more like that, to where it's at least going to be satisfying. Or like I think I've compared before as well, Hunter x Hunter 2011, where it's like, oh yeah, there's definitely a lot more to the story, but the anime ended um, at a very satisfying point to where it's like, even if the anime never continues, I'm fine with where it left off. I don't want it to be like an OKKO though. Because as much as I really enjoyed and loved OKKO, the ending was rushed as fuck. The ending was like just kind of almost out of nowhere, and it felt like it really just it didn't have time to put in enough care and attention, and it felt extremely quick. It really was rushed. I don't want something like that. So hopefully we'll get one of the like better comparisons here, and hopefully it just ends up being a really solid ending, because this show deserves it. It deserves to really go out on a strong note. And mind you, like, a lot of people already know what the ending is because it's been out already. All the episodes came out at the same time because Disney has no faith in their shows. But yeah, I don't know anything, so it's still gonna be blind to me. And I'm just hoping for the best here. Another comparison I could make, by the way, is like Moon Girl, or not Moon. This is Moon Girl. Ghost and Molly McGee. That one was kind of like rushed as well, but at least it was still a satisfying ending. I still liked how it ended in terms of what happened. I just think that it felt like it kind of just happened, you know? Like, they were building up to it to a degree, but I feel like there was a lot more they could have added in, and a lot more time they could have given to make it really to feel like it worked better. The way they did it, it was very clearly rushed. Maybe one of these days Disney will understand, like, not to cancel these shows that are popular just because they're not making the money in the time that they want. It's like Disney is becoming like fucking ridiculous with this shit. But hopefully excuse me. Hopefully they start to learn their lesson. I don't really have hope that they will, but hopefully they do. Let's get into this episode and see what we have in store, because I don't know at all what to expect from the rest of the season. I know nothing. I've seen no spoilers, which I'm happy about. But yeah, don't know what we're getting into. Let's find out. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, that resolves another issue. And interestingly, not in the way I would have expected. Like, I really didn't expect the connection with Devil Girl and Moon Dinosaur. That one caught me a bit off guard. Though I guess it kind of makes sense after the entire shit with Moon Girl. It's like it kind of makes sense he would kind of attach himself to an alternate version of her. And mind you, she's the one who found him, apparently. So he didn't like seek her out, but once they connected, it's like, yeah, he began annoying her just because it allowed him to vent while also keeping close to a version of Lunella. Because while he was upset and everything, it was because of how much he cared. Like, it's the same reason that Adria was so upset and was pushing Lunella away. It's because she cared. And mind you, it's not healthy, it's not the right way to handle things, but still. It's very much a case of like, this is very clearly not out of malignance or anything like that. Both of them, both Beyonder and Lunella, were acting this way because they cared greatly about each other. They had become very close friends, but they both felt betrayed. Lunella felt that Beyonder's actions and everything have just been something she couldn't reconcile with, something that was too painful to think about and too painful to let go. While Beyonder felt betrayed by her, he felt like she had mistreated him and everything. And both were right. That's the thing. Both were correct in their views, and they both had to apologize. Beyonder had done some bad things, some terrible things, and Lunella had wronged him as well. So I'm glad that it showed both sides of that, and that both of them did need to apologize in order to mend this relationship. But the entire memory erasure idea was a bad idea for a number of reasons. Not only was it like a bad idea, like just because it would obviously erase Beyonder and Lunella's friendship from Beyonder's mind, at least, but it would also erase his character development. Because Beyonder started off as kind of a chaotic, evil character. Like, he was a bad guy. It was only through getting to know Lunella that he started to change and become more chaotic good. Even if you wanted to argue that at first he was more chaotic neutral and just doing things for his own cause rather than actual, like, ill intent, he still was not a good guy, and he still was a problem who would be willing to sacrifice the entire world, this entire universe, for basically fun. And I would personally consider that to be bad. But I could see some people making an argument that it's more neutral. That, again, because not necessarily having like aggressively ill intent. But point is, if he erased all of his memories of Lunella, he would not remember all of that development. It would have never happened because it was directly tied to her. Meaning that he would go back to his old self, and in which case he would not fix things. All this like weird Mageddon bullshit that was happening, he would probably make it worse. And he definitely wouldn't send Devil Girl and Moon Dinosaur back to their dimension. It's like, this wouldn't actually help anything. it was a genuinely bad idea from concept up. Which is wild because the idea came from Devil Girl, who is an alternate Lunella and should be a genius just like her. And like ignoring the entire fact that Devil Girl is more like hands-on, more aggressive and action oriented than Lunella tends to be. Like just ignoring that aspect of her, it's like she should be a genius as well. So to come up with an idea that dumb is just baffling to me. Because memory erasure in the first place is not smart. It's not a smart plan ever. For a number of reasons, it is extremely dangerous. And I understand that both of these Lunellas are still teenagers. And I understand that they're going to make stupid decisions, even despite their insane levels of intellect. Because sometimes when you have a character like this who's, a teenager, that's going to take over intelligence. Like if you had a teenage character whose intelligence was like in full control at all times, they wouldn't feel like a teenager. You know what I mean? You still have to make them feel like a teenager in the fact that they would have to make dumb mistakes, do stupid things, and even with their intelligence, come up with dumb ideas. Because if they're right all the time, there's not really any conflict or issue or anything that like adds depth to the series and the characters. So it's like the idea is like that the Lunellas are these technical geniuses. But when it comes to like certain levels of common sense and social intellect and whatnot, they struggle in that regard. They're technical geniuses specifically. And so that kind of resolves that issue a bit and allows it to feel a lot more natural than if they were just like unstoppably smart, for lack of a better way to put it. So I'm very good with the idea of alternate Lunella, Devil Girl, making such a stupid concept. Especially out of annoyance. Because she wanted to do this to erase her own memory in order to forget about everything that happened here because she was annoyed by it. And so it wasn't meant for Beyonder in the first place, but just going along with that plan and making that the plan was absolutely stupid. In every sense of the word. So yeah, I'm just I'm okay with how it was handled in that regard. I also said during the reaction, but I love that Casey had such an active role in this episode, and not even just because she's my favorite character. I genuinely like that she had this role because it allowed her to act as this neutral mediator. Like, she obviously has, to some degree, skin in the game, being, best friends with Lunella and being on terms of sorts with Beyonder. But at the same time, she's able to act as a buffer between them, allowing them to work out their issues, allowing them to, like, mediate things. Devil Girl was kind of acting that way in the first place by setting this entire situation up with them coming into contact with each other. But she didn't actually act as a mediator in any way. She just said she was, but she didn't actually do that. So Casey actually doing that and actually being the mediator really allowed for her character to get, more screen time, but also for her to have a great role to play in here that really sold to her strengths. Because we know Casey is like this social media maven. She's really big with social intelligence. She kind of fills that gap that Lunella is missing. Like I mentioned, Lunella is technical intelligence, but Casey's absolutely the social side of that. She is so socially savvy and she knows how to handle this stuff. And the way she was handling things was smart, talking it through and using the sock puppets, all these different ideas. And the funny thing is, so was actually the way that Devil Girl tried to help there. When Devil Girl actually did try to do some level of mediation by using like the intense dodgeball shit and whatnot, the thing is, physical interaction can help. Now, is it always healthy? No. It depends on a lot of factors, a lot of like what the conflict is about, and who the people are and everything. And some people will say, oh, you should never fight it out, but sometimes it actually helps. And it doesn't always have to be physical. Sometimes you can fight through yelling at each other. Yelling out your feelings can sometimes allow you to just really process things a lot better and get your true emotions out, and it allows you to be able to freely express yourself in a way that just a calmer mediation might not. And sometimes, like, consensually agreed upon physical fighting can do something. Genuinely. It can help to get that out. And again, it's not the most healthy. It would be better for them to, like, have, like, physical interaction with, like, other things, like punching a pillow or just, getting a punching bag or something like that. That would be a healthier way to do it. But sometimes you do need to fight. As long as you do it in a safe, healthy way, then you're good. You just have to know how to handle that kind of situation. And again, it has to very much be consensual. Both parties have to fully agree with it, have to agree on like bylines for it. There has to be full consent from any party involved. But it can help. Like, I've known people who have literally physically fought it out, and it helped them get over their issues. And they became closer, even. And it just depends on the people. It doesn't always work for everyone. Some people that would absolutely destroy any chance of them becoming friends again. But some people it would help them and they'd become friendly with each other almost right away after. It depends on the people. And in a fictional sense like this, when you're talking about like an animated series, obviously you can get away with a lot more through that as well. But you also have to be a little careful of what you're teaching kids too. Because with a series like this that is marketed towards a younger demographic, you don't want to teach kids that it's like okay to just fight at all times. You have to be careful about that. And I think the way they handled it here was good. I think the way they handled it, showing the different ways that they tried to get over it and everything, tried to talk it out. I think they handled it well. So I really enjoyed that. I also enjoyed the weird Mageddon style bullshit that started happening when his powers were going out of control. But I kind of wish it was able to go further. I understand there wasn't enough time for that. But it's like, there's so much possibility that they could have gone with there. Um, not only did it feel like Weird Mageddon from Gravity Falls, but another like comparison you could make would be like Discord from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Specifically, in the episodes he appears in the second episode of that two-parter, from the beginning of season 2, he goes to Ponyville and starts like chaosing it up. with like the ground being made of soap, ponies floating around everywhere, all kinds of weird shit like that. And it's very reminiscent of that with the things that the Beyonders Magic was doing here. Um, honestly, if you told me that that was a direct reference to that, I would believe you. But yeah, it's like I wish they could have done more. I wish they would have had time. The problem is, I can't see them having made this into a two-parter. This feels like it only needed one episode to be resolved. So at the same time, while it would have probably allowed for a lot more creative shit to be shown, I just I don't see how they would have made it work. I just don't see how it like could have stretched into two episodes. So even though I would have loved to see more of that, I think they made the right decision in the end. And to be fair, it wasn't really about that shit in the first place. Like that was just a way to like really showcase how emotionally distraught he was by this entire thing. So, yeah, I think it was handled as well as it probably could have been. Um, I'm very, very excited to see more of this now. We still haven't established our final villain. Um, but we have plenty of other episodes to go still. Even though we got a lot of great Casey focus here, I would still love an episode that focuses almost entirely on her. And my biggest wish is still to have an episode that like is about her and her dad's. I don't know if we're gonna get it, especially after, Disney already like cut out an episode focusing on queer issues and whatnot. So I don't know if we'd get an episode that focuses on, a girl and her gay dads. But I would love that. Like that would be like my biggest wish. Just an episode that focuses almost entirely on them. Hell, even one where Lunella's barely in it, if at all. That would be kind of my wish. Because I feel like they could do so much in regards to that. They could even touch on more of the culture stuff with her being, part Puerto Rican, part Jewish. I think that would be fantastic to touch on. Because we've definitely touched on that. Just, I feel like we could touch on it more. There's so much possibility with that kind of plot line that I'm really surprised they haven't touched on that more. And again, I know she's like a side character. I know she's a supporting cast member. But still, like, she's still a really good character who's really popular. And I feel like could easily yield some of the best stuff from this series. And honestly, there would definitely be a lot more great stuff, a lot of great moments with her, like if we did get more of the series, if it wasn't canceled. There's so much opportunity to work with there. And again, I'm not just saying this because she's my favorite character, though I will not deny uh, that she's my favorite character. Like, she's such a well crafted character that it's like, how could I not love her? Her personality, her the way she interacts with Lunella and others, it's like she's amazing. She's hilarious. She's like a really great not foil but addition to Lunella. Like I said, talking about the social intelligence and whatnot. And I think she just adds a level of personality that really balances things out a lot more. So I'm very, very hopeful that there's just one episode really dedicated to her. That's all I want. And there's like, what, 6, 7 episodes left? Let's see. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 5? There's only 5 left? Oh, well, okay. 5 episodes left. Um, Jeez, it sucks that there's only 5 episodes left, but still. We're like halfway through the remaining episodes. That means because we've done 5 episodes since coming back, and now there's 5 left. Well, I mean, not really much to do about that. I like though that we did resolve this character drama in the first half of the second half of the season 2B, because that will definitely allow for more room to like really push forward the last arc um, of this series here. And they could definitely still do a Casey episode in with all of this. But we'll see. We'll see. Either way, I'm still hoping that they close this out on a really good note, despite being canceled. And if all goes well, maybe this will be another example of a show that should teach Disney to stop canceling their fucking properties. Owl House, like, definitely should have taught them that, but, you know. Either way, let's just hope for the best going forward. And in the meantime, tell me your thoughts on this episode. Let me know what you thought of this one. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.